Ever feel like you're playing a game of corporate whack-a-mole, where the same exact problems keep popping up no matter how many times you think you've solved them? Well, what if I told you there's a better way? Today, we're going to crack the code on a really powerful structured method for solving complex problems, a technique used by some of the sharpest minds in business.
But first, let me ask you something. Think about the last big challenge you dealt with at work. Did the solution actually stick, or did that same issue kind of creep back up a few weeks later? If you feel like you're constantly fighting the same fires, there's a good chance you're solving symptoms, not the real root problem. It's frustrating for sure, but today, we're going to talk about the cure.
So, why do we fall into this trap? Why do we keep patching up symptoms instead of fixing the underlying cause? Well, a lot of it just comes down to how we naturally tackle challenges. We see a problem, we jump in, we react, and we often just go with our gut. And while that can feel really productive in the moment, it's often the fastest way to end up solving the wrong problem entirely.
And this quote right here, it just hits the nail on the head. Most of us are kind of accidental problem solvers, right? We never really got formal training on it. We just sort of figured it out as we went along by watching other people. And this informal, self-taught way of doing things is exactly why we so often fall into some pretty common traps.
See, without a real framework, this is usually where we end up. We either lean too heavily on our gut feeling, which can lead to biased decisions, or we get totally stuck in analysis paralysis, just staring at data forever without actually doing anything. Sometimes we even forget who we're solving the problem for. Or, and this is a big one, we try to boil the ocean, taking on a problem that's way, way bigger than what's actually needed. Sound familiar at all?
Okay, so what's the antidote to all this chaos and firefighting? It's a simple word, but it's not always easy to do. Structure. A structured approach is what helps us avoid all those pitfalls we just talked about. It's how you become the person who delivers real, lasting solutions.
And this is the core idea right here. Structured problem solving isn't about being rigid or bureaucratic. It's about being deliberate. It's a disciplined, repeatable process that transforms you from a reactive firefighter into a strategic problem solver. And the biggest takeaway here is that great problem solvers are made, they're not born. It really is all about having a process.
I love this perspective because it just nails it. Being structured really just means being thoughtful. It means you make a conscious choice about what you're going to focus on and, just as important, what you're not going to focus on. It's about channeling all your energy where it's going to have the biggest impact. This is where you start to see amazing results.
All right, so how do we actually get that structure? Well, one of the most powerful frameworks out there is something called the hypothesis-led approach. Let's break down what that means. So here's the deal with this approach. It's designed for those messy, ambiguous problems, the kind that don't have an obvious answer. It gives you a way to slice right through all that complexity, break a huge challenge down into smaller, manageable pieces, and find a really high-quality solution much, much faster.
And here's the roadmap. It all starts with defining the problem correctly. Then you structure it, prioritize what actually matters, plan out your work, do the analysis, and finally, synthesize everything you learned into a clear recommendation. Now, we're going to focus on that first step because it is, by far, the most important one.
And I'm not kidding. You could follow the other 6 steps absolutely perfectly, but if you get step 1 wrong, none of the rest matters. It all starts with asking the right question.
This is so critical. The single biggest reason problem-solving efforts fail is because teams are working passionately and brilliantly to solve the completely wrong problem. A simple tool called the SMART framework is your best defense against this happening to you. Think of this as your quality check for any problem you're about to tackle. Before you start, ask yourself, is the problem specific enough to guide my work? Is success measurable so I know what winning actually looks like? Is it actionable, pointing towards something we can actually do? Is it relevant to the key stakeholders? And finally, is it time-bound, creating a clear deadline? If your problem statement can't pass this test, you need to go back and refine it.
In this simple example just makes it so clear. Where should we go on vacation is way too vague. It's a recipe for endless debate. But asking, where can we go in the next 4 months to have the best vacation ever? Now that's a smart question. It's time-bound, 4 months, it's measurable, best vacation ever, and it's specific. It gives you clear boundaries to work with.
Okay, so how can you start putting all this into practice, like today? Let's talk about a key takeaway that can immediately level up your problem-solving skills.
This is a game changer, understanding the difference between a summary and a synthesis. A summary just lists the facts. My meeting ran late, I forgot my phone, then I missed the train. Okay.
But a synthesis gives you the so what. It's the key insight. The synthesis is, I'm going to be late for dinner. That's the part that matters. That's what drives action. Anybody can summarize facts. Great problem solvers deliver a synthesis.
So here's your exercise. I want you to think of one of those annoying, recurring problems at your job, one of those whack-a-mole issues. Before you do anything else, before you jump to another solution, just stop. Take 5 minutes, that's it, and force yourself to write that problem down as a smart question. Don't even try to solve it yet. Just define it properly.
And I'll just leave you with this final thought to chew on. What would happen if you made this a new habit? If for every single challenge, big or small, you just paused and deliberately defined the problem first? It's a tiny shift in your process that can lead to a massive change in your results. Give it a try. I think you'll be surprised at what happens.